I am Vincent Doumeizel. I am a senior advisor for the ocean at the United Nations, and I'm trying to support the potential for seaweed worldwide and how seaweed can really help people and support the planet. Well, seaweed may be the greatest untapped resource for the next generation. And I think this next generation and I think we are feeding this next generation with a lot of fears and drama. And I think it's time to talk about solutions for this next generation. And seaweed is a very interesting one because that's where everything started. At the very beginning, on planet Earth, there was only seaweed, and then out of evolution everything else started. But at the very beginning it was just seaweed, and seaweed is also something very interesting because it has a lot of different ways to use them. It's a very nice food, so you can get with a lot of interest. It's very healthy. There is a lot of very good component into seaweed that will make you very healthy. It's also a good food for the animal. It's also a good way to replace some chemical products that we are using in agriculture that are not very good for the environment. It can replace a lot of other products that are not good with the environment, such as plastic or other cotton or synthetic fibers. It can also restore biodiversity, more importantly. So it's just like a forest. Wherever you will plant seaweed or cultivate seaweed, then you may repair the ecosystem. There will be more fish, there will be more shellfish, there will be more life, which is good. It will also help to mitigate climate change because seaweed will absorb a lot of greenhouse gas, which are contributing to global warming. Because some seaweed, they can grow up to 40 centimeters a day. They can reach up to 60 meters high. So they are just like forests. They are supporting life. They're very good for other animals to hide. And they are absorbing a lot of carbon. And eventually, in coastal communities, where there's a lot of food, where there is a lot of poor people, notably in emerging countries, well, seaweed will represent new type of job and will make people richer or less poor, at least, and will give them new type of food that are very healthy for them as well. So seaweed really ticks all the boxes, and we need to all become seaweed ambassadors, and we need the next generation to understand that. I think it's a question of culture. And actually, we all became a human being because we were used to eat a lot of seaweed thousands and thousands of years ago. But then at some point, our civilization decided to focus on land resources back 12,000 years ago, very long time ago. And then we kept focusing on land resources. And in fact, 12,000 years ago, we were hunters gatherers. We were like in prehistory, in the Stone Age, hunting mammoths and collecting wild herbs and wild stuff in the fields. And then we became farmer. And that's what we call civilization, to become a farmer, to grow your plants instead of collecting wild plants. But we never did that with the ocean. And with the ocean, we are still in the Stone Age, we are still in the prehistory. So it's time to become civilized with the ocean and to learn how to cultivate and repair the ocean because we have done a lot of bad things in the ocean. So it's time to learn how to repair the ocean and to become civilized and enter into sort of a revolution. And that's what we call the seaweed revolution. Exactly. Seaweed yeah, exactly. Seaweed is under threat. You are absolutely right. Seaweed forests are disappearing at the moment. The biggest seaweed forest in the world of California, Santa Barbara and so forth, disappeared over the last 10 years. 80%, almost the entire forest disappeared over the last 10 years because of climate change, because the water got warmed. So it killed the starfish. I mean, the starfish become extincted. There was no starfish left. And the starfish were eating the urchins. And the urchins are the enemy of the seaweed. And so, because there was no starfish to eat them, the urchin proliferated and have eaten the entire seaweed forest over 5 years. And now there's no seaweed forest there. And 800 different species of animal or plants have disappeared because of this. So it's not only bad for the seaweed, but it's bad for the entire life around them. And it will lead to extinction a lot of other species that will die and disappear from the planet. So it's a very, very important topic. And everywhere around the world, we see the same. Seaweed forests are disappearing because of the human activities, because of global warming, because of our pollution. So we need to support them and we need to preserve them. We need to understand them. I think that eating seaweed is a strong cultural shift because people are not used to it. So it will take all of us. We need to get together. We need to speak to the next generation, to the kids, so they can understand that seaweed is delicious. And that's the first thing. Really, people are like, seaweed is not good because they don't know it, because it has a very strong and special taste. But just like cocoa bean or potato, if you eat them raw, if you don't cook them, they are not good at all. But if you eat chips or chocolate, it's delicious. So the same with seaweed. We need to learn how to cook them or to make them delicious. There is 12,000 type of seaweeds. They are all very, very different and they have very different taste. They are very old organisms that are very different. Not gonna bother you with the detail, but a red seaweed is more different to a green seaweed than a fungi is to an elephant. So it's very, very different organisms that have a lot of different tastes. So we should learn how to consume them. And here we are all the driver of the change. We are all environmental activists that can shape the world of tomorrow, and we can all change the world by eating seaweed. Because if we start eating seaweed, then there will be more farmers to produce seaweed, and there will be more people to research on seaweed, and everything will get better. So that's something very important. We should all get together to understand better, to learn how to cook seaweed, to influence and to tell other people that they need to get interested, they need to try, they need to understand how good it can be, because ultimately we will make the change together. I worked many years in the food industry. I was in the industry that was producing food. And I've traveled across the world, and over this travel, I realized that a lot of people are dying of hunger. A lot of people are starving. 1 billion people almost, which is huge. And also, the way we are producing food at the moment is damaging our environment very seriously. It's damaging our climate as well. It makes the world warmer. It is killing a lot of biodiversity. There is less and less wild animal because of the way we are producing food. And also there's a lot of people who are not living very well out of food production and that have big problems. So I realized that there was a lot of problem in the food production. And every day we are like the equivalent of a big American city in addition to feed every day on the planet. So it's growing very fast. And in the next 50 years or so, if we want to feed everyone on the planet, we will have to produce as much food as we produced over the last 10,000 years. So it's huge. And clearly, there's no way on land. We cannot produce that much because there are bigger and bigger cities and less arable land where to farm. And also because the crops, they have reached their maximum capacities. We cannot make more from them. So we will need to move to a different solution. And if you step back, what you see is that we have a blue planet And it's a blue planet because it's covered mostly with ocean. And still, ocean contribute to a very, very, very tiny part of our diet. They are less than 2%, which is nothing. So it's like we are growing all our food on a very, very small place on our planet, which are the land, and they are very small compared to the ocean. And we are neglecting the rest, this ocean. So it's time to move to civilization with the ocean once again and to learn how to farm the ocean. And then I think, and that dawned on me, we could be remembered, you could be remembered, or all the kids, like the first generation on this planet who will manage to feed the entire world population while mitigating climate change, while restoring biodiversity, and while alleviating poverty and social injustice. And we can be remembered as such, but but we will need to get together for that. So I need everyone. So please welcome to this seaweed revolution.